Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It's lovely to see you all as always. And let's go straight into the superpower. So take a deep breath and either close your eyes or leave them open, whichever you prefer. And go into your superpower, however you normally do that. So by repeating your word or phrase, using your anchor, or focusing in on your subject, that person, animal, place, or activity you love and appreciate. Very good. And now allow that light or energy to shine out from your chest, your heart. Feel your heart expanding. That expansion, opening feeling in your chest. Allowing that light or energy to shine out, and then allow that light or energy to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy, that love, your power. And now allow that light or energy to fill each of the 50 trillion cells that make up your body. Love each cell just for existing. Good job. And now allow that light or energy to fill that little you with that same love, that same light and energy. Yourself as a child, any age, and allow that light or energy to overflow from that child, that little you, and fill your whole childhood, everyone, everything, every experience, every event, every circumstance, shining that light into any darkness, loving it all exactly as it is. And surge. Good job. And now allow that light or energy to fill everyone who's in the group today. Those on camera, those off camera, fill each one with that light, that energy, that love, loving each one just for existing. Very good job. All right, you can open your eyes. And let's check in with everybody. So Katrina, hello, you're first up on my screen. How are you today?
Hi, Odille. Yes, not full of excitement, but anyway,
Okay.
after today, maybe. Okay.
Very good.
I want to jump to this rather than I was discussing something there with Steve about pain, but I found a memory and I was hoping that you could flip it so I can have a fantastic weekend.
Absolutely.
Okay, my daughter's coming this weekend, so I want to be upbeat. And so the memory was, well, there was two, but there's an earlier one, but okay, so really looking forward to, used to always look forward to going on an outing with my father on a Sunday, but mother always put a dampener on it, and she was always a killjoy.
Okay.
Okay, on this particular memory. And then the other one was when I was on a high. This is, you know, when I'm on a high and then I go to a low.
Yes.
So I was really excited. I was going to get information about a guy I fancied. His brother was leaving me home from the dance. And because I stayed out in the car for ages talking, my mother was raging, and she compared me to a local girl who was not thought of and got herself pregnant when she was 16. And inwardly, I was raging, but you were not allowed to speak or, you know, give an opinion on whatever. Yes, and I didn't like being compared to this girl when I was totally innocent. So I was being put on the same level as I thought something was not on my level. The person was not on, I was much better than.
Yeah.
So is this the driver?
Very good. Well, it certainly sounds like it's providing that proof there. So let's have a look. So the earlier one, where you would look forward to going out with your dad on a Sunday, and your mum would put a dampener on it, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So let's look at that. Approximately how old do you think?
Say I was from probably 10 to 14, around those years.
Okay, so let's go early as possible. So 10 years old. And what was that experience like? So you'd look forward to going out with your dad on the Sunday, and how would your mum put a damper on that?
She would be saying, you know, I need you here to help with the dinner, like you're being totally selfish and you're not thinking of me, you're away off having fun, that type of thing.
Perfect. That is so perfect. That's why you can't have fun and get excited.
Oh.
You see that?
No. No, what?
All right. So let's look at this. So you were excited and you were looking forward to going out with your dad, and your mum laid that guilt trip on you and said, you're going off and having fun and you're not thinking of me. Now, to your subconscious, that's dangerous, because your mum is clearly not happy. She's upset or disappointed or angry or whatever that means, which to your subconscious is rejection, which is dangerous. It's life-threatening because you won't survive without her. Do you see that? So your little subconscious right then took note of that and thought, it's not safe to have fun, and it's not safe to look forward to something.
Wow.
So now you have that, whenever you want to get excited about something, that safety mechanism in you is going, no, it's not safe. You can't do that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
That's a really, really good one, Katrina. Well done. All right. So now let's change it.
I'm getting excited.
Yay. So now, of course, you want to change it to the opposite, positive and empowering. And so now, instead of, I think you may not need a stepping stone. It may just be straight to where your mum says, no, let's do a stepping stone. I'll tell you what I think the stepping stone could be, is that you're getting excited, you're going out with your dad, and your mum has whatever she has to do, and you say, oh, well, do you need me to stay and help you? And she goes, no, you've been looking forward to this. You go out and enjoy yourself. I'll be fine. I'm happy to do whatever it is. Does that sound good?
Yes,
so that's a stepping stone, 3 times in a row. Practice that. And then the final memory is that there's no question. You don't even offer, because you don't even think of offering, because it's normal for you. You go out with your dad, you have fun, and your mum wishes you, have fun, enjoy, you've got everything you need, and you're excited, and she says, yes, I'm so excited for you. This is so good for you to have time with your dad, you and your dad, just the two of you. It's very important for little girls to have that strong relationship with their dad, she says. And you could add to that where she says, because, I had this with my dad. And that's why, I loved those times with my dad when I used to go out there. So it's very important. Don't worry, I can handle everything else. And when you get back, we'll have a lovely meal or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, super duper.
Good. So that's and she's excited for you.
Okay, yeah.
So that's that one, and practice that one first. So, make sure you make it strong and establish that one first. And then after you've established that one, we can do the teenage one. So you're in the car and you're chatting with the boy, whatever, that long chat, and you go in and your mum is, she just says, oh, hi, sweetheart, welcome back. So was that fun? And you tell her all about it. You say, oh, yes, and I found out this, that, and the other. He was telling me about his brother. Whatever that information is, you share it with her. And she's supportive and excited for you. And she says, oh, I think that would be such a lovely match. I hope that, or whatever, whatever the ideal would be. How does that sound?
But I could change that. She didn't actually like the guy that I was finding information out on.
So yes, change that.
Change
so
that.
what, yeah, and if you need help changing that, what didn't she like about him? Why didn't she like him?
Oh, he didn't have the right background, and father was an alcoholic and a bad mouth, and da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
Yeah.
So then if it's difficult to change your mum to liking him, change his story, of course. So his father was fantastic. In fact, his parents and your parents were great friends. And they were always coming over to the house, and you were all going to their house, dinners and outings and fun.
Okay, yep.
I'm good?
Fantastic, yes.
Good job. I am so excited for you. Yay, that is such a great one. And thank you for sharing it, because that's such a great example of something that you wouldn't have thought of. And then when you do manage to see the link, it's like, oh, okay. But you wouldn't have thought of that before. So that's a great example. Good job, Katrina.
Thanks a million, Odille.
You're very welcome. Good job. All right. And Lisa.
Hi there.
How are you today?
Oh, good. How are you doing? Today is Think Thoughts of Love Thursday.
Very good.
So I'm going to read really quick. And okay, so in order to reprogram the subconscious mind, you need to relax the body, release the tension, let the emotions go. Go to a state of openness and receptivity. You're always in charge. You're always safe. My life is a joy. And then I align with the love of the universe. I have like little cards. I can decide today to recalibrate my energy to commit to love and joy. And then I heal the habit of fear, and I embrace the habit of love. And amen. No.
Good job. There you go.
And that's it. So I thank you and bless you all for sending love to my cousin. She really needs lots of love right now. So I that's my target for today too. Send everybody on the planet, and then especially her, because she's going through a challenging time, but everything will be good.
Good. Very good, Lisa. And Steve, if you could add that to the list. Thank you. Thank you, Lisa, and thank you for sharing as always. You're such a beautiful, bright, sparkly presence in this group.
Thank you.
All right. And Monika. Hi, Monika. How are you today?
Hello, Odille. Thank you, better. Yes.
Oh, good.
But I struggled with my uncle yesterday, and there was this dog. I couldn't imagine what I can do with it, because I thought this is our dog.
Yes.
And when he came on the weekends, he told, "Oh, that's my dog." And
okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a very strong reference there. That's, that'll do it for any child.
And
okay.
Yes, and I didn't know how to write it, how to flip it, because there's always one dog, and I think it's our dog or his dog, and so I didn't think.
Yes.
Couldn't get it. How I will change it.
Okay, very good. I can help you with that very easily. Okay, so what we want to do is that your uncle, so the end result we're aiming for, and we'll do whatever it takes to get there. So the new memory we're aiming for is that your uncle comes back on the weekend with a puppy for you. It's a German Shepherd pup, so that same dog, but it's a German Shepherd puppy. And he gives it to you and he says, this is your puppy. This is for you. How does that sound?
Not quite, because this dog was our dog or my dog.
Yes.
He went with me to kindergarten,
Yes.
beside me, and he went alone back to our home, and
yes.
He was always protecting me, and so
that's it. Yes, so it's the same dog. He gives you that dog. So he got the dog, but then he gave the dog to you, that same dog.
Oh,
it's from him. It's a gift from him, that dog, as opposed to being his dog. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so you can create an early memory from when you were very little, where he gives you the puppy. It gives you that dog, and then the puppy grows up with you. It goes to kindergarten with you. It goes to school with you. All of that. And whenever he comes back, he is lovely. He loves the dog, but he gave you that dog. Does that sound doable?
Yes. But he was a very strong personality. He was very loud and very aggressive, and it's difficult to see him like this, that he does this.
Now, so that's good. So now we think, with him being like that, can you imagine what his childhood was probably like? So we want to change his child, because if he grew up with soft, gentle kindness, compassion, fun, loving, affectionate, he felt safe, life was easy and fun. Can you imagine the kind of adult he would have then grown into?
Difficult, but I try.
And so let me ask you this: have you written a due justice letter to him? You have. How did that go? Were you able to get everything out?
It was also difficult. Yes, because there is fear, and what really do? He does not live anymore, but it's so present. This, yes.
That's right. Okay. So when you wrote the letter and it was difficult and there was a lot of fear, what happened? What did you do? Did you continue writing, or did you stop? Or did you
stop?
Change the language? Okay. All right. So you need to do that. Now, what you could do, here's a trick, and this has only just popped into my head, so it's new. So for anybody who is struggling like this with writing a due justice letter for any reason, here's a stepping stone for the due justice letter. Write the letter to that person from someone you know who would stand up to them. Could be anybody from any time. It could be a fictional character, or it could be someone you really know. You write it from someone who is confident. Write it from Oprah, or from anybody else you admire, and you feel you see that person as strong, and they would stand up for you. Stepping stone. So you write that letter to that person with things like, how dare you treat that child like that? Who do you think you are? How dare you? Get all of that out from that perspective of that other person. It could be like an authoritative figure, it could be a teacher, it could be anybody, somebody you feel that would stand up if they'd known what was going on. And then once you've done that, that'll open the floodgates for you. Then you write it from that child, because now that child has someone really strong behind them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And thank you, Monika, because I've only just thought of that now. And I think it should be powerful. Very good. So do that, and then imagine that he had a different childhood, and what he would have grown up to be if he'd had that different childhood. And then, of course, the new memories where he gives you the dog. And whenever he comes back for the weekends or whatever it is, he, how's your dog? Oh, it looks like you're taking good care of him. Good job, Monika. That kind of thing. Does that sound good?
Yes, yes.
Very good. And thank you,
you,
Monika, for sharing.
Thank you, Odille.
You're very welcome. Cheryl, yay, how are you today? Lovely to see you.
Hi, how are you guys?
Very good, thank you. How are you?
I am doing good. I guess sorry I've been away. I've been, technology with the iPad, and it was just frustrating me so much, and I was trying to just stay clear of technology. And then I was like, oh, I haven't been on in a while. And I guess I've just been gardening and trying to be present. And I guess I think I needed a little break from the revisiting the memories and rewriting the memories. I just needed a little break from that. So I have been in the garden. I don't know. The days seem so long, but I'm filling them with things that I like to do. So
good, very good.
But sometimes I'll be like, wow, I've done yoga today. I've gone on like 4 bike rides. I spent 4 hours in the garden, and then I look and it's like 6 o'clock.
Yep.
So, and then yesterday I joined a group on Facebook for widows, my least favorite word in the world. And then I was shocked to see that there were like 2,300 members. So there's a lot of people out there with that situation. And yeah. So that's where I've been, and I feel badly that I haven't been coming, but I'm here in spirit.
Yes, of course, and no one should ever feel bad about not coming, because this is for you. It's not, if you come or you don't come, it's about you. So we don't want you to come because you feel obliged or anything.
No. I feel. I don't mean it that way. I just mean that I felt like I wasn't, I wasn't taking care of myself perfectly because I wasn't coming every day. But I think I was doing other things, that were helping me too. So
good. Well, that's the main thing. So whatever it takes to stay on track with feeling good and feeling that unconditional love and moving forward in that way. So whatever will get you to that. Good job, Cheryl. And so do you have any questions for today?
No, I think I'm okay. I'm feeling a little unsupported, maybe. I've been trying to work on that too. I think that's why I joined that group. Just, so maybe target that I am supported, please.
All right. So Steve, could you add, thank you. And in addition to that, just to give you a little bit of extra there, is of course to make sure that you are giving yourself the support you want from outside. So, what does it feel like? What if someone else was to, or if you were to receive that support from others, what would it feel like inside you?
Don't know.
Yeah. And the reason for that will be childhood, not receiving support as a child. So one of the things you can do, and if you want to stay away from memories for the moment, that's also okay if you're taking a break from that. But here's a little very simple thing you can do, is just imagine yourself as a child in front of you, any age, and give that little you a hug and tell her you are always there for her. No matter what happens, you are there. She always has your support.
Okay.
Because it's not the adult in us that wants the support or that needs the support. It's the child inside us. So you as an adult give that little you the support and anything else anybody feels, you know, that they aren't getting. You give that to the little you, and that will help to heal that.
Okay, that's a good idea. Thank you.
Sound good? You're very welcome. Good job, and welcome back. It's lovely to have you back as always. All right, and Chris. Hi, Chris.
Hello, I'm still here.
How are you today?
I'm to go in a few minutes. I'm really well. Great to see Cheryl back, and the work you've just done with Monika and Katrina, and then Lisa's abundance, all wonderful as always. So thank you all. I don't have a question, but when you were speaking to Monika, an interesting memory came up. I actually did something to one of my children.
Yes.
I took away. I'm admitting it because I can't. It's so hard for me to say it, but never mind. I took away one of my children's comforters when they were very because I thought it was the right thing to do.
Yes.
Bits of cloth. There was a point at which you thought, oh no, that child shouldn't be dependent on that. So while you were speaking to Monika about her uncle, I'm putting myself into that position. It's so interesting, isn't it? Now, where will I go? I've got to go back and find the
now,
reference.
I'm going to tell you something. One of the things that haunted me for a very long time, and I won't go into detail, but I have a similar experience with my son, and it was, the memory of it was unbearable. I just, you know, if I could go back in time, I would just definitely, you know, and I was a different person then, and it wasn't out of anything other than I was put on the spot by someone else. So someone else told me that I had to take this thing away, this toy away from him that I had just given him, because he was ungrateful or something like that, and he was living with them. And I was very vulnerable, very weak, very, you know, I couldn't stand up to people. And so it broke my heart, but I did it, and I was devastated. So I changed it. The way what I changed it to is that now, instead of and in fact, so it was a Pikachu. It was this Pikachu that spoke and made all the Pikachu sounds, and he had been ecstatic to receive it. So it was really a horrible memory. But and he was, I think, 2 or 3 years old. Probably no, he was probably 3 years old, or maybe no, he could have been 5. No, he was 5, I think. Anyway, whatever it was. I changed that memory, and all that's there of that memory now is that I did a stepping stone where they said, you should take that from him. We want you to take that from him. Otherwise, and it was a kind of, it felt like it was one of those things where I was at the mercy of them for being able to see my son. And he was in another country, and I would fly over there. So it was that kind of feeling. So the stepping stone memory was, they said, you need to take this from him or else, kind of thing. And I said, no, that's not happening. I won't do that. So I stood up and I said, I won't do that. So that was the stepping stone. And then the final memory is just a scene of me bending down with my arms open, and he's holding the Pikachu and going, thank you. And he runs to me and we hug. And that's it. So he keeps the Pikachu. Does that sound, does it help you to give?
Oh, it does. That's a great little picture, little image. I've got it straight away.
Great.
Because like you, I know it. I was a different person, a different place in my life. But yes, the guilt can't help but come up. So well done, both of you.
Good. You're very welcome. And that's the thing. We are all, absolutely everybody, even the people we see as negative or evil or anything, every single person in the whole world is always doing the best they can from the programming they have. And so, including us, and sometimes it's the most difficult thing is to forgive ourselves for things like that feel so emotional. So well done, Chris, and thank you for bringing that up, because I know that's going to apply to a lot of others as well.
Yeah.
Good job. You're very, very welcome, sweetheart, and well done. And Swasti. Hi, Swasti. How are you today?
Hello. I feel really anxious, to be honest.
Okay.
Very on edge today. So yesterday we went for a walk as a family, and then my dad asked about like the exam I'm taking.
Yes.
And then he was like, he always uses this phrase of "don't mess it up." Again, there was like a rush of anger. It was like my legs were like shaking, and I was like, "Oh, this is so annoying." I thought the pressure was off, but it doesn't seem like. It seems like there's something else there. So yeah, I've got to change.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So, so that "don't mess it up," that was probably said to him when he was growing up. That's probably an automated thing that comes out of his mouth before he even realizes he said it. So that's a good one. So you want to go to earlier memories where he said it, either the earliest one you can remember or the time when it's had the biggest impact on you, whatever comes to mind, and have him say something different. So you can change it to again, it's an automatic phrase, and it was said to him from when he was little, and it's always, "Don't worry, it's not the end of the world."
Okay.
Or something like that. Pick a phrase. So I use "it's not the end of the world" a lot. So you can use whatever fits for you, whatever makes sense. And that is his catchphrase. He's always, it comes out of his mouth before he thinks. "It's okay. Don't worry. It's not the end of the world. Don't worry. It's not the end of the world." That kind of thing, right? Does that sound good?
Yeah, because I have tried trying to change my like dad's side of the family,
Yeah.
but because they've told me so much about their struggles, it's really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess, yeah.
Okay, so when you think of them, what's the first thing that comes to mind regarding the struggles? So what is something iconic that represents it all, if there is something? If not, that's okay.
Yeah, it's just my grandma, because she struggled a lot, and then, well, that carried on. Like, her family weren't strugglers, and then as soon as she married my grandpa, because he basically turned out to be a fraud kind of thing, so he presented himself as something different. But then when he got married, he was actually not. So he said he was a headmaster at a school. Yeah. But he actually didn't have a job. So.
Okay. So there's a whole lot of stuff there as well. So apart from the struggle, excuse me, there's a lot of stuff there regarding betrayal and not being honest and all of that as well. So, as you know, an ex-professional struggler from a long line of strugglers, I can tell you that it is absolutely possible to turn all of that around to the opposite. So one of the things that my sister did before we found all of this thing about changing memories, she was actually way ahead. Our grandmother, who was working from 4 years old, an unbelievable life of struggle, constant struggle, also quite bitter, and she used to tell us stories, and our mum, who was her daughter, used to tell us stories of poverty and terrible things. And what my sister did, the first thing my sister did was she changed our grandmother into a 20s flapper in her mind. She just, like, and so my grandmother had short dark hair, and the real story is she was a contortionist in the circus. She was working from, as I say, 4 years old. She did various acts and that, but a really, really rough life. And so my sister changed her to where she had this, so she still had black hair, but it was in a bob, and she had the pearls and the little fringe dress, and she was a party girl. So she started, and it was difficult to begin with, and she didn't have the techniques we have now. But she just kept allowing herself to imagine it no matter what. And eventually that became who the first thing she thought of my grandmother, she saw this 20s flapper. So hopefully that gives you some kind of ideas. Start with your grandmother then, your dad's mum, and give her something fun. So she could be anything. and anyone, right? But
Okay.
something fun and carefree, and that, you know, you can give her a beautiful car. My sister gave my grandmother a helicopter. So my grandmother now, in our new memories, and thanks to my sister, fetches us from school in her helicopter. And it's fun, it's exciting. Subconscious believes it. So hopefully those give you some ideas of some fun things you can do. And then, of course, do the same with your dad, where he grew up with that person. So you can imagine how much fun that was and how relaxed he is then. Everything comes easily. And, you know, there will probably be some resistance to it. And maybe not for you, but I'm saying this for everybody as well. If you've got resistance, that's okay. Just keep doing it. Keep redirecting. Write it due justice if you need to. And keep reminding yourself that your subconscious has no clue of what actually happened. It's just going by what's in there. So, and what you give it. So hopefully that helps.
That has, thank you.
Good, because what you're aiming for by changing those memories, and of course using the superpower. So when you use the superpower, fill your dad with that superpower exactly as he is. Hear him saying, don't mess it up, and shine light into that. Shine light into that darkness. Because here's the truth. Unless there is an actual physical consequence, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Really. So if he says don't mess it up, you could just, yeah, okay. Right? I mean, what's he going to do? So you can, yes. So there was a coping skill. There's a coping skill I used to have that really served me well. And this was before I changed memories so that it's no longer an issue. But whenever I used to say, if someone wants to insult me, they have to draw pictures because I'm going to take everything as a joke. And so when someone insulted me or criticized me for something, I would literally go, oh, yeah, anyway, and just carry on. And that helps because it keeps those stress chemicals down and keeps you filled with feel-good chemicals.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay.
And you don't have to do that. Sorry, I realize I do need to put a caveat in here. You don't need to express that to the person if it's going to antagonize them, of course, but in your head you can. So to them, you can just go, okay, but in your head, you can go, oh, yeah, good one. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, sweetheart.
Yeah, that I will definitely be trying that.
Yeah.
So also, because this links to my grandpa, so I tried making my grandma get married to someone who was nicer, but that was quite hard to change. So if by changing her, will he change? Or do I need to change him as well?
You need to change his childhood.
Yeah.
Because if he'd grown up with love, affection, compassion, kindness, wealth, freedom, security, all of that, he would have grown up into a different person, and he would have been headmaster of a school or whatever you decide would have been nice, whatever you would like now. Perhaps he's a doctor or a neuroscientist. Give them jobs that you want now or that you find interesting or fun. Okay, and then so he doesn't say, "Oh, I'm a headmaster of a school." He's a famous neuroscientist.
Yeah. Oh, this is exciting.
Good.
Okay. Take you.
Very good. You're welcome. Yay.
Sorry, can I just quickly ask something else?
Of course.
So when I will change a memory, and then when I'm practicing them, this like phrase comes in my mind that it's fake and it's not real.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you for bringing that up because you're not the only one. This is a common thing. So let's just check. So that part that comes up and says that's fake, that's your conscious mind, because your subconscious can't tell, unless when you know it's your subconscious will be when another memory comes up that proves that it's not true, and then you just change that memory. But if there's no other memory, if it's just that voice that says this is fake, that's your conscious mind saying that. And the answer is my subconscious doesn't know it. And here's a few little points that will help. When you watch a movie, you know, that's a fiction. you don't sit there saying, oh, this is fake. Oh, this is fake. Just remember, this is fake. This is not real. This is not true. You don't do that, right? You allow yourself to get into the movie. So it's like that. And then the second thing is, you don't want to be telling the tiny little girl, the little child, there's no Santa Claus. You know, so when a child gets excited about Santa Claus or any other, you know, thing that's clearly a fantasy, you don't want to be saying to them, yeah, but you know it's fake, right? That's not nice.
Yeah.
So you can think of it that way. Think of your subconscious as a child, because it doesn't know unless you tell it.
Yeah.
Does that help?
So, yeah, thank you. So if no memories come up, if that voice comes back, I would just say the subconscious doesn't know.
That's right. And remind yourself, movies, Santa Claus, because that will help you. Because the conscious mind uses logic and reason. So that's where you want to answer it with logic and reason. Like, well, I don't do this when I watch a movie. And I would tell a 4-year-old there's no Santa Claus. So that's, you know, that's you using logic and reason to answer that voice rather than just trying to ignore it.
Okay. Yeah.
Good? Yeah.
Thank you for your help. I feel so much better now, especially in laughing.
Oh, good. Yay. Good job. All right. And Steve, is there anything in the chat that I need to address?
Sorry, it's been pretty busy on the back end here. But there were a couple of things here. One I wanted to bring to mind, or bring up, is when you were talking about the having the hero step in for the little you.
Would you just, yes.
Yeah, for that. And I believe that this reference or this response was in regarding that. But the response was a good one that hit the spot for me about giving support to the little you when needing support. Quite fitting in a different way, as I often feel the need to be looked after. The thought of being and taking responsibility for me feels overwhelming quite often. I guess a sense of helplessness and needing someone makes it feel better. So, you know, that, and in my response to that, and I just wanted to kind of share that response with everybody to make sure, you know, that it's also on the recording, that I know that what you were presenting there is a surrogate, because that notion of the hero stepping in for us is just a surrogate until we can get to that point of stepping in for ourselves.
Right. It's a stepping stone for the due justice technique specifically. So that is specifically for the due justice letter, writing it from a hero's perspective. And I like that. Whoever your hero is writing that letter on your behalf. And then you do need to do it from the little you after that, so that little you still has their voice heard. So that's that. As for the looking after and taking responsibility in that, thank you, Steve, for mentioning that, because yes, again, it can be a stepping stone. So you imagine the little you and you imagine someone else, your hero, taking care of you, reassuring you, protecting you, and supporting you. And then you do it as the adult you for the little you. So you as the adult take care of that little you. And because there's a lot of references there that are important, that it is you and you're not giving your power to someone else. And to be honest, that when you imagine the hero, that is you, because it's your imagination, and that hero is not inside your head. So it is all you. This is just helping to get past some of those limiting beliefs. I see Swasti says, we can use Odille and Stephen as our role models. I can so imagine them standing up for us. Absolutely, absolutely, and you bet we would. Absolutely.
Another quick question from Carrie. I'm wondering if, excuse me, if we can't find a reference for something in our past, shall we just make one up?
So yes, yes, and so a couple of reasons for that. Number one, because as you make it up, it's whatever you make up is probably coming from a reference that you just don't know about or you've forgotten about anyway. So whatever the first thing comes to mind, take that, even if you think, oh, I've just made that up. If it's there, it's valid, because remember, the subconscious does not know you just made it up. So the answer is yes, absolutely. And rather do that. I see you've answered there, Steve, saying, yes, no need to spend too much time in archaeology. Absolutely. So rather go with whatever the first thing comes up, or with make something up, rather than be digging around looking for terrible things. So absolutely, because you don't want to be firing those negative neural networks, or the neural networks that are supporting the negative stuff, more than is necessary.
And I think the last one here, can my dad be my hero? That is very emotional, as that's what I so wanted. Darn, I thought that was all cleared up.
Absolutely spot on. And that is the best option. So if you can make your dad or your mum or both of them your hero, if you can go to that point, that's the ideal. And if you can't, then bring in whoever you can, whoever will give you that stepping stone. But that is the end result, is that your parents are the ones who are protecting you, loving you, supporting you, encouraging you, loving you unconditionally.
And if they can't yet, it just means that there's still some program, there's still some reference there that still can be cleaned up.
Yes, indeed. All right, so I hope that answers all the questions. And let's go into targeting. And Steve, if you could send me the targets, please. Thank you. All right. Oh, and just a little point, if we forget a target, so if there's one that we've missed somewhere, because there's kind of more and more stuff happening, so to keep track of. So if we forget, if you could send a message to me, either privately to me or just to everyone, and I'll see it come up in the chat, and I'll add it in. All right. Okay, so take a deep breath and either close your eyes or leave them open, whichever you prefer. And go into your superpower state. However you do that, repeating your word or phrase, or using your anchor, or focusing on your subject, the person, animal, place, or activity you love and appreciate. Start feeling your power filling you. Start feeling your chest expanding, your heart opening. And that light, that energy shining out from your heart. And allow that light or energy to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy, that love. And now allow that light or energy to fill each of the cells of your body that make up your body. Fill each cell with that light, that energy. Love each little cell just for existing. Very good. Now fill your subject with that light, that energy. And then imagine they don't want to be with you, or they don't have the qualities that you love and admire and appreciate. And keep them filled with that light, that energy anyway. Love them anyway, exactly as they are. Very good. And now let's go to Lisa. Fill Lisa with that light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Lisa just for existing. Very good. And now allow that light, that energy to overflow from Lisa and fill her cousin with the health issues. Fill that cousin with the same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Lisa's cousin just for existing. Whether she has the health issues or not, no matter what, everything, everyone in her life, shining that light into any darkness, loving it all exactly as it is. Very good. And now to Monika. Fill Monika with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Monika just for existing. Very good. And fill any pain that Monika has with this same light, this energy, the feeling of the pain, whatever's causing it, fill it all with that light, that energy exactly as it is, loving it anyway, no matter what, shining that light into any darkness. Very, very good. And now to Katrina. Fill Katrina with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Katrina just for existing. And now allow that light, that energy to overflow from Katrina and to fill the part of her that feels it's not safe to have fun. Love that part of Katrina exactly as it is. Even if she never feels it's safe to have fun, love it all exactly as it is anyway, shining that light into any darkness. Very, very good. And now to Swasti. Fill Swasti with that same light, that energy, that love. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Swasti just for existing. Very good. And allow this light, this energy to overflow from Swasti and fill her father exactly as he is, from the tips of his toes to the top of his head and out to his fingertips. Fill Swasti's father with that light, that energy, and love him exactly as he is, just for existing. And imagine him saying, "Don't mess it up," and love that too. Shining that light into any darkness, feeling that power, that strength. Loving it all exactly as it is. And loving the stress. Again, shining that light into the darkness, loving the stress exactly as it is. Good job. And now to Chris. Fill Chris with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Chris just for existing. And now allow that light, that energy to overflow from Chris and fill the part of her that may be having trouble pre-paving. So whether she pre-paves or not, love it all anyway. Shining that light into that darkness, loving Chris anyway, exactly as she is. Whether she pre-paves or not. Very good. And now to Cheryl. Fill Cheryl with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Cheryl just for existing. Good job. And now allow that light, that energy to overflow from Cheryl and fill the part of her that feels the lack of support. Fill that part with that same light, that energy, that love, loving it all exactly as it is, and loving the lack of support, shining that light into any darkness, loving the people who don't offer the support. Filling all of them with that same light, that energy, loving them exactly as they are, even if they never offer support. Love them exactly as they are. That's the power. Shining that light. Good job. And now to Caro. Fill Caro with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Caro just for existing. Very good. And now allow that light, that energy to overflow from Caro and fill her daughter. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips, love Caro's daughter exactly as she is. And whether she's ill or not, love her anyway, exactly as she is. And love the illness. Whatever that is, whatever the symptoms are, shine that light into all the darkness, loving it exactly as it is. And no matter what may happen, shining that light into that darkness. Very, very good. And now to Carrie. Fill Carrie with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips, love Carrie just for existing. Exactly as she is. And allow that light, that energy to overflow from Carrie and fill everything and everyone in her life. Everyone, everything, every event, every experience, every circumstance, shining that light into any darkness and loving it all anyway. Very, very good. And now allow that light, that energy to fill everyone who's off camera today, on this call, and everyone watching the recording. Fill them with that same light, that energy. From the tips of their toes to the top of their head and out to their fingertips, love each one just for existing. Very good. And now allow that light, that energy to fill the future you with that same love. So yourself later today, whatever you'll be doing, whatever you'll be feeling, no matter what happens, no matter what you experience, love that version of you. Fill that version of you with that light, that energy, that love, exactly as you are. And surge. Very good. And surge again. Good job. And now pick one target, something or someone that triggers you, whether it is something or someone in your life or a circumstance in your life, or something or someone in the world, an event, a person, whatever it is, and aim this light, this energy at that target. Fill that person, circumstance, event, whatever it is, with that same light, that energy, your power, aiming this light into that darkness, loving it exactly as it is. That's where the power is, no matter what. Very, very good. All right, you can open your eyes if you have them closed. And any questions or comments before we finish? Well done, everyone, for all the progress you're making. We're so proud of you. Thank you, Odille and Steve. How lucky we are to be working with international mindset coaches. We must have some pretty good references back there to be here today. That's beautifully put. Thank you, Swasti. That's very sweet of you. And yes, all of you must have done something right to be able to manifest this opportunity in your lives. And we are so very, very proud of you for continuing to do the work, for the progress you've made, and for especially for turning up when things aren't going so well, because that can be the most difficult thing to do sometimes. So well done, all of you. We're so proud of you and we love you so much. Good job, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye-bye now.